goes.
Okay, perfect.
Hi, Robert.
Hi, Kerstin. Welcome to Real and Raw, or is it Raw and Real?
I
Which
don't
one is
know.
it?
We haven't decided, but we can call it whatever we want, I guess, because it's our YouTube. We could change every day if we want. Raw and real, real and raw.
Real and Raw.
But
Yeah, no,
welcome,
that.
listeners. Mhm.
Yeah, welcome.
Yeah, well,
Yes.
yeah, this is kind of our space where we welcome you and where we have have deep conversations on healing, awakening, self-love. Hmm.
Mm. And
Yeah,
all about, yeah.
all
Yes.
about, yeah. And like it's really honest and truthful and awakening's kind of messy and we just want to share like our experiences and be in this space with you and speak from the heart space and truthfully about this human experience. And yeah, so we welcome you here. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
Hmm.
Wonderful. Hmm.
Yeah, so Robert, do you want to share your journey a little bit about what brought you to this moment in time and what brought you on this journey of transformational self-love therapy?
Yeah, for sure. Thank you. Well, I was just, well, when I was even born, I was born in a socialistic Czechoslovakia in 1970s, and when I woke up there, come come out of the womb, I'm like, what is this place? It was kind of strange to me. I mean, there was a beautiful family around, which was quite loving, but at the same time, there was also something which was missing, and uh, and I always felt like that this world needs more love.
Hmm.
Bottom line, I didn't really, put it into words at that time, but that's what I just felt in my heart. Just like, are they crazy? They don't see?
Hmm.
Like everybody walking around, almost like in a moonwalking state,
Hmm.
kind of like a hypnotized state, which is not only in the post-communistic countries, but it's happening here as well. I mean, at that time I didn't know, but what is this place? Yeah. So that's kind of started my search, and I went around it like in a typical empathic way. Because empaths always uh, want to heal everybody around them, or create a harmony with all the people around them in
Hmm.
order for them to feel safe and feel better.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So that was kind of my journey, and everybody thought that I would be like a mechanical engineer because I was very much into engineering and all that kind of stuff. But then when there was time to decide, I was just like, no, I need to be with people.
Hmm.
So to the surprise of everyone, I suddenly did the massage school and became a massage therapist. I was thinking of medical doctor or psychologist, and none of that really kind of felt right. And the massage therapy was kind of a vehicle how I can be with people and really touch their lives, and be kind of more intimate with them. So that's when I started. Although I started, I think, with Reiki in 2000. What was it? No, 1993.
Wow, that early, hey?
I
Wow.
started with Reiki, and that was my first modality. First modality was Reiki, and then 1994 I did the massage school. Yeah.
Incredible. Bet you it was
Mhm.
so different back then to be starting as a massage therapist as a male in that environment back in the 90s. I can't even imagine how different it was. Like for me becoming a massage therapist in, the 2010 era, much different.
Yeah, it was different, but it was also different by the geography because I mean, Europe typically had much more tradition in all these holistic modalities, and I think it kind of came out of Germany when they started to do that first spas, and
Mm.
the healing spas. They were about you know, in that tradition, they were about 150 years old, probably,
Wow.
of doing the the spa and the massage and all of that, hydrotherapy, probably 150 years old, not
Wow.
that old actually. I mean, of course, when you look at the ancient cultures, they were using it, you know, really long time ago. But in Europe of that time, that was just when it kind of started.
Mm.
And so. it was actually not that kind of weird as it was when I came to North America.
Hmm. Tell me about
Yes.
that. Yeah, tell
Yeah,
me.
so in Europe it was still there was probably I would say maybe 40% males and 60% females into massage therapy, or maybe 70% females and 30% males, but it wasn't unheard of, not like when I came here, you know.
Hmm.
It was really like a wild west when I came here in 1998. It was like, what? You're a massage? What? You know? Masseuse,
Masseuse.
right? Masseuse. I
Exactly. Oh,
said, yeah,
I
no,
hate
no.
that word.
I said, no. Oh, yeah, masseuse.
Mm, yeah,
I
yeah.
go, it's more like a physio, and, I'm just really here to take care of the muscular system and help your function and range of motion and all of that. But early on, I kind of just felt like I didn't really go there for range of motion or muscular stuff. Even though I was always very much into exercise and all of that, and I just understood the muscles, and I, was always interested in how to function better, but it
Hmm.
wasn't my passion at all. The passion was really what was lying underneath that unease or that everyday suffering which people had in their lives, sometimes
Hmm.
hidden behind a really smiley face, which
Hmm.
which was much more fake in the West, right? People in the West, there's so much more, oh, I'm great, everybody's smiling. When you came to those communistic countries at that time, everybody was just like, the cashier was miserable and she would just smash the stuff there. She would be grumpy and she would be like, I'm hurting, and I don't care, but in the West, people
Hmm.
were, oh, hi, I'm great. And so we're very plastic, I was like, what the heck?
Hmm.
What is wrong with them?
It must have been really a weird culture shock.
Yeah.
These fake people.
Yeah. I mean, you could say that, relatively speaking, mm, being in a capitalistic country was a better draw of your cards on some level, because especially in that time after the war, after the Second World War, there was a relative era of ease and abundance, which happened here, and people lived quite a better lives, you could say, you
Hmm.
know.
Yeah.
But still underneath that, there's just the culture of the religion of dollar, right?
Hmm.
Right.
Yes.
If you, of course, you have more dollars, that means you are more happier and you're safer. And, of course, on some level that is true, but not in ultimate sense.
No, no,
And so I
absolutely.
would still feel people underneath being actually quite unhappy, because if you're an empath, you just feel it,
Hmm.
right? And I would feel it in my massage clients, and so I guess that was a really big draw for understanding what is that which is hurting in them,
Hmm.
and how to make it better. Because that was a really big joy in my heart if there would be actually kind of like this fundamental change.
Hmm.
A little did I know that it was me who I really was trying to heal through this, roundabout way.
Mm.
But
Yes,
that sometimes takes a long time to figure out, and some of us are slower learners than others, you know.
I hear you. Yeah.
So
I've been
yeah,
one of those slow learners. That's why I
yeah,
can
same
remember.
here. Same. Like I'm a slow learner, kind of just stubbornly walking my path or whatever, or my pre-programmed path, because we all come with the programs of the society we are born into, and family and whatever, the
Yes.
media and all
Yeah.
of that. I mean, we're all mind controlled. There's no doubt about it,
Yeah, absolutely.
so so
Yeah.
after being in massage field for a while, and I find a job in Canada, doing massages, first in a spa and then in the private clinics with chiropractors. And then I started to teach massage in 2020, in 20, 2004.
Mhm.
2004. So yeah, probably 5 years after I took a massage training, I started to teach it, and I basically teaching it to this day, to say. Um, so that was another kind of a great avenue, and I found out that was actually on some level, even more enjoyable avenue
Mhm.
of actually just really talking to people and connecting with them rather than rubbing their muscles,
Mhm.
which becomes very labor intensive as people start to age, and you cannot be that athlete you were when you were 20, and I'm now almost 55, right? So,
Yeah,
those the body starts to take its toll.
I hear you.
So,
Definitely hear you.
mhm. And then it kind of came to the point where, well, the life tests us, and as you know, my wife passed away 7 years ago from after the um,
Yeah, I'm so
well,
sorry.
tragic illness, she had for many, many years and was struggling with it while we had little kids. And so that was a truly like a traumatizing event for everyone.
Oh,
Really,
no
really kind of a
kidding.
deep grind. It was just pretty much living in crisis for like 8.5 years. Because she had a daily seizures. Didn't really matter that she was on all this anti-seizure medication. She still had lots of seizures and little kids around, and she would be falling, and no family in town. So it really kind of takes a toll on you.
Yeah, for sure.
I
No
had two
question.
jobs, teaching and massaging private clients. So it really kind of came to the point of breaking. And that's again, the old program was just like, do more, just do more.
Mm.
And then you will finally be better.
Hmm.
And
Yeah,
you
that old
realize that
program.
yeah, the old program, and you realize you cannot actually do more. You're just actually trying to reach your limits, or you're actually you're past your limits, but you even don't know you're overriding because that's the whole thing about dysregulated nervous system of the trauma, right?
Mm-hmm.
Which I didn't
Exactly.
even, I didn't even have a clue that anything like that existed.
No.
I had a sense, of course,
Mm-hmm.
but never had a clue. Like oh yeah, this is trauma, yeah, and that's why I need to heal. I try to heal it. I was always a lifelong student. So I took so many different programs and schools and workshops, over the years.
Mm-hmm.
Because I love learning, and there's always a better way. And yeah, but somehow nothing really could touch it
Mm.
until it was just like it was really last year, 2024, when my body was so broken that I couldn't do it anymore. And I just and then I found out actually I found transformational self-love. I found about it like maybe 3 or 4 years ago. But so I was really touched by a message from
Mm-hmm.
Tara Perry, right? And I was really touched by it, but I didn't really act on it for like probably another 2 years until I was just really kind of more broken and more tired. And I realized I cannot continue like that. And then finally I was ready to practice more self-love.
Mm-hmm.
I just kind of needed to kind of come to more breakdown. Unfortunately, oftentimes we are like that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's true. We sometimes just get right to the brink before we actually do something. Sometimes, right?
Sometimes, yeah. And when you come from those countries, from those um, post-communistic countries or communistic countries, there was just like it was a hard rule. It was a heavy-handed push.
Mm-hmm.
It was always just like if it doesn't go with the force, use more force, right?
Wow.
Yeah. So basically, that was deeply ingrained in me. So that was very hard to let go.
Of course it would be. Yeah, no
And it was
kidding.
kind of part of my identity. I always used to be strong, and could do it. But then if you override your body over and over and over and over again, it stops cooperating.
Yeah. It keeps telling us, it gives us a message of some sort. It keeps saying, hello, are you going to listen to me or what?
Precisely, precisely. So it wasn't not only the transformational self-love, it was probably somatics in 2017. It was a HANA somatics.
Mm-hmm.
It's just more kind of movement orientated, but it was regulation of the nervous system and really going into the underlying subconscious movement patterns, which are oftentimes hurting us because we are not really moving efficiently,
Mm-hmm.
right? But it was just kind of like it, the bottom line was like a deep listening coming from the override and just tuning in and listening more and listening more and listening more. And this is a big thing because if we start to listen more things start to come to the surface, right?
Mm-hmm. Sometimes that's why we're so scared to tune in and listen because we don't really want that stuff to come to the surface.
totally. Like, 20 years ago, I was teaching meditation workshops, and I remember sometimes I would, create a certain space, and people would go into it and they would go, oh, I'm just so anxious right now, because these things would be popping up. And at that time, I was just like, yeah, this is the stuff which was suppressed like a beach ball. Now it has a time to come to the surface
Mhm.
and for some kind of harmonization. But again, not fully understanding it. That's,
Yeah, well, I mean, it's such a journey to understanding it and to
yeah,
experiencing it within ourselves. At least it has been for me. It's been a long journey, right?
it is a long journey for
Hmm.
sure.
Hmm.
So yeah,
I
so
guess
this,
that's part of why maybe we're both here. Like, we don't really want people to have to take such a long journey. Maybe we want to help guide them a little bit to a little bit of awakening within so they can experience consciousness without having to have it be so drawn out. Maybe a little shortcut, I don't know.
oh, 100%, right? If you
I
can
think so.
if you can save somebody a journey, and this is the thing, as a seeing the private clients, for transformational self-love, there's nothing more rewarding and joyful than watching another human being finding their own freedom,
Oh, absolutely. Oh my goodness. Amen to that. I can't
right?
even, yeah. Oh
I
my
mean,
gosh.
there's
Ugh,
nothing more rewarding when you're actually just witnessing and you're just there a guide and a companion, just to
yeah.
hold their hand and being there with them and guide them gently, and they come to the places, and the liberation is immense,
Ugh,
because it's not only liberating them, it's liberating you as well, because
mm,
you are them and they are you. I mean, there's not really separation, right?
no, exactly.
So
Yeah, that's one of the things that really resonated so deeply with me from the moment I learned about transformational self-love therapy through you.
mm.
Obviously, it was our story about how we came together is kind of cool, so I should maybe backtrack and go there for a moment,
Yeah,
eh?
so why don't you tell us about you? How did you come to this point, and why healing? Hmm.
First of all, did you get to share what you wanted to share? I didn't want to cut you
Yeah,
off
yeah, that's
either.
that's pretty good for now. Yeah,
Okay, all right. Well,
absolutely.
we can always come back around too. I just thought it'd be fun for the audience to maybe learn how we came to meet each other and become friends, because that was kind of cool how, I didn't really know you really well in the last while, but about a year ago now, I was in Mexico living, and all of a sudden, the universe so kindly gave me this beautiful name that just popped in my head, Robert Javier. And I was like, why is that name popping in my head? And I was thinking about this. It's like, okay, about 25 years ago, probably, I had a massage from you. And I believe I took a workshop through your wife from on meditation. And then maybe like 2 or 3 years ago, I'm going to say roughly maybe longer. It's hard to say. Somewhere in that period of time, my cousin, mentioned your name as because I was asking who she was seeing for massage therapy since I was no longer massaging, and so she mentioned she was seeing you, and then I was like, oh yeah, I saw him for massage like how many years ago, right? And then so then I reached out to Robert, just said, hey, universe has asked me to contact you and I'm doing it. So here we go. I just messaged Robert and he says, "Oh, great. Good. Glad you did." And then I met when I came back to Edmonton and we just started talking every day and we became really good friends and we have these real and raw, beautiful conversations on a regular basis. So that's kind of what made us decide that we should start sharing some of these because we feel that like this journey of awakening that we both went through that we're hoping that we can help spark that in within others. I really believe transformational self-love therapy is such a beautiful way of doing that, and I'm so grateful because as soon as I met Robert, he had been doing or just was. We were just about to start your training. You hadn't even started yet, had you?
Right. You know what? Let me see. Yeah, March. Yeah, I haven't. It was just about when I was starting the training, but
Hmm.
I already had some private sessions.
Great. And then
So,
you were
so
just telling me all about it.
I was just telling you about it. I was so excited that this is amazing. This is really making a difference.
Yeah.
And
And then you gave me a session, and I was like, oh, this is phenomenal. And doing life coaching and teaching a program called the Clarity Catalyst on its help awakening program. But this was just something beautiful that allowed, well, when I experienced it through you, it was like, wow. I had these deeper layers of healing and awakening that I didn't even realize were left in there because I thought that that part, a lot of my journey, was not that I never thought I was done it, but I didn't realize how much more healing and awakening there was to do within me until I experienced that. And then I was like, I got to be offering this too because this is just so beautiful. And um, my passion and my desire to bring into the world is to bring more awakening and consciousness and self-love. And so through this healing, it's been just a beautiful opportunity to see that, like you said, when we have the opportunity to witness our clients, to connect within to this space that's so deep and beautiful. It's just absolutely phenomenal to see the transformation and experience that they have, especially if somebody has ever, I feel, been on any kind of a healing or awakening journey at all. It's really then quite profound.
Profound if they're open enough to go into the space, because with
Yes.
this work, as I often say in those workshops I'm holding once a month, harmony of the heart workshops, right? And it requires lots of courage, humility, and discernment in order to arrive at this point, and so many times we don't have that kind of awareness in that, or that kind of courage to actually go deep, because with everything else in this life, as you notice probably, is that it's pulling us outside of ourselves, right? Pulling us
Always.
outside of ourselves, and oftentimes, why we just keep running faster than we can is because we cannot stand to be with ourselves.
Mm. Yeah,
But
absolutely.
this,
I did that for so long.
right?
Hmm.
But these things, they don't go away, do they?
They certainly do not. We have to face them. I feel like that's what I loved about love about transformational self-love therapy is that it allows me to really connect to those parts that I want to push away, the parts that I need to
Mhm.
shine a light on and bring them out of the dark into the light, and then allow forgiveness and love to come in so that now that it's not no longer fear, it's coming from a place of love and it no longer drives me in a different way. So I'm no longer looking out here as much as I used to for everything I needed to. Through relationships, through work, through accolades, through people pleasing, all the different things that I needed before so I could feel something in here. I don't feel I need that as much anymore. I feel like I have what I need within me. So I'm no longer looking outside, outward.
Beautiful. That's a big change, isn't it?
Huge. It's been life changing. Like I remember those years of people pleasing, and I was always the kid in school who was keeping the peace and, getting the citizenship awards, which is beautiful. I'm not saying that those aren't good things, but I think it was a place from needing recognition and reward in a way, not always, but just something. I was looking for something. I was missing something within me, you know, because I didn't have that connection within. I didn't so I was looking for something from someone else, and didn't feel it all the time and was yearning for it so deeply, and
Mhm.
that yearning has just gone away. Now I don't have that deep yearning like I did. I mean, not fully. I mean, there's days, obviously. We have our days where
Mhm.
we get back in, or for me anyway, I get back into the old headspace and the mind
Yeah, yeah,
starts telling
for
me that I
sure.
need something else and that this isn't enough. But then when I remind myself, or I have you now to remind me too, just to connect within and we do, practices to help, like transformational self-love therapy to guide us back within, then that connection within helps me to feel like I'm home and that I have everything I need right here. I don't need anything else right here. In fact, I don't actually have a physical home anymore, and I mean, it's a lovely thing to have a physical home, but I have my home wherever I am because my home is within. Mm,
Beautiful. Mhm. Beautiful.
mm.
Hmm.
Yeah, so I guess that's been my journey. You asked that my journey is what it's led me here. It's just been that whole searching for something my entire life. Not knowing what I was searching for, I don't think. I was taking so many courses and I can't even tell you how many different things I studied and learned. And I connected to meditation a few times, like 25 years ago, and but I didn't use it as a regular practice or anything like that. I didn't really understand it, I guess maybe sometimes, and then sometimes it felt like so good and I would do it and then I'd stop doing it, and so as a pattern. But then, I would start feeling when I didn't do the meditation or connect within at all, then I started looking outside more. I would end up looking towards other people. Well, relationships was one of the big things I ended up looking for love in my life, just always thinking that the knight in shining armor would show up, and that he would rescue me and save me and give me all that love I was so longing for that I was missing inside.
I was caught in a very similar pattern about it, you know. I was looking for the perfect princess, hey?
Hmm. Isn't it funny? And and
Mhm.
all along we had it right within ourselves. We didn't
We
have to
did.
look outside. Here it is, right here. And so beautiful when we can just connect to that space within and really know that that's always there for us. But anyway, transformational self-love therapy, when I discovered it through you, was just such a beautiful tool that I was just drawn to it immediately. And as you know, like it only took the one conversation and one session with you for me to say I'm signing up for that. I'm doing that. I'm getting certified in that too. Because after doing years of massage like you did, and obviously that part of me that wanted to help heal others because there was part of me that wasn't healed, and that trauma, response of wanting to take care of everything outside of us and make everything better out here so we hopefully will feel better on the inside. Massage was a beautiful tool in a lot of ways for that, but it doesn't heal what needs to be healed on a deep level. And for me, having went through fibromyalgia and chronic fatigue and healed myself on that healing journey, I realized the nervous system needs to be regulated and that it's so important for our nervous system to be able to heal, especially when we've had trauma, whether that's big T trauma or little t trauma in our life. It doesn't matter what kind of traumas we've had, if as long as we've pushed those, like, the brain comes in when we have trauma and it says, enough, can't handle it, abort mission, and the breakers goes off, right? And everything gets pushed down, and all those feelings and emotions are there stuck within us there. And, we don't want to feel them. And so that's the beauty of another beauty of transformational self-love therapy, I feel, is that,
Yeah,
it allows us to feel things that we didn't want to feel, but we meet them with our breath and with love.
yeah,
And
we
then
don't
it's
know.
not so scary. It's beautiful how it just lights those parts up of ourselves that were hidden for so long and allows them to be just seen and heard and felt and really acknowledged. And I feel like all of us, every single one of us in this world, that's what we want more than anything, is this deep acknowledgement. And what better way to acknowledge ourselves than through our own self, through our own process, and allow ourselves to acknowledge it?
Mhm. No, it's absolutely amazing. Yes. Yeah, yeah, yeah. That was that breathe and receive, you know, that breathe and
Mm.
receive meditation, which I did for a good year
Yeah.
this last year. And it was just like that's where I was getting the deepest discoveries. And yet, you know, I meditated almost for 40 years now
Wow.
without actually stopping. You know, I always had a meditation practice. So started probably like in 1987. So I was probably 17 years old. So that's
No
not quite
kidding.
40 years, but it's close,
Wow.
2025. But you couldn't meditate it away because the meditating was just like, oh, you know, you're just going to be on a cloud and you're just disconnected from this, you know, and leaving all these behind. And this is exactly the opposite process of diving deeply into your humanness, into your
Mm.
own physiology and into your own pockets
Yeah.
of this harmony, which are still there. And I think there's many of them in every one of us, you know. I think
Mm.
there are bigger ones, there are smaller ones, but they all need love and connection, you know. And that
Absolutely.
and that's and this is another thing. Like we can do it partially ourselves, but yes, for those bigger T's, we need other people. And
Yeah.
that's why
That's so
those
true.
one-on-one sessions or being in a group of other people, there's more nervous systems to regulate.
Mm.
That's this was the big discovery for me actually, basically, that as I was trying to heal everybody else, uh, and I couldn't heal myself because I said I don't need anyone, I'm fine,
Mm.
right? Uh, that was a big discovery. I need other people. I
Oh
need
my
other people to help
goodness.
me, you know. So
Wow. Yeah,
yeah,
that's such a big discovery. I always thought that I could do it all on my own, the lone wolf. Well,
yeah,
that's what I just learned from, the past was
mhm,
that, be independent, be strong. There's so much to be said for that, right? But I mean, there is, don't get me wrong, but there's also something to be able to know we have support and love and community, and we can reach out to other people for our healing journey, and that we don't have to do it all alone. I think that that old idea of doing it alone is gone. We need to embrace something new and really reach out to people. And I believe when we sit in community, like you're saying, and allow ourselves to heal with another person, we allow our parts of our nervous system that are dysregulated and the other parts of the other person's system that are regulated, they somehow connect. And when we sit in presence with one another in this deep space of breathing and receiving together, that we allow ourselves to regulate our nervous system through the healing of one another. And it's just such a beautiful process.
Totally, yes. And this is the thing, that just those deep things we cannot really do at all.
No,
It just doesn't happen.
doesn't.
Yeah.
No. And I think that's why we're both so passionate about the creating this space for people and doing this work because we want other people to experience that so that they don't have to carry that trauma around and have that trauma continuously be their trigger in life, right? We all have triggers, and when those triggers bring us out of ourselves, like they automatically don't allow us to connect to who the truth of who we are in those moments, right? Because it's coming from another space. And then I believe, for me anyway, that every time I've now experienced a trigger, I'm like, oh, this is a beautiful opportunity to heal on a deeper level. And then
Yeah.
that's when I can do another transformational self-love therapy session. I'm just so grateful that I've always had you to reach out to for that when I need those in those moments. Because when I'm triggered, sometimes I'm just like, I don't know, where to go, what to do. But now I have, this space
And
and the
likewise, thank you. Thank you for
yeah.
being here for
Oh,
me. That's incredible.
yeah.
Incredible difference it makes. Really, honestly, it can
So,
just
oh my goodness, I'm so grateful, like seriously grateful.
Hmm.
And for the whole community of transformational self-love therapy therapists. There we go. There's what I was trying to say. But yeah, because we can also reach out to them and do trades anytime too. It's a beautiful thing. And I don't know, just from my experience of offering this out there, then when people experience this, it's just so different than any kind of traditional therapy or anything I've experienced before. I've done a lot, like I've done almost every modality out there, and probably you have mostly too, I think.
yes,
And
we did a lot.
between
We
the
did lots. Yeah.
we did probably between the two of us, we've probably spent close to like I'm sure more than $500,000 for sure between the two of us, right? In
For
our life.
sure, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, that I'm sure of that.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
and this is it. I mean, because it's lots of this is on the level of the nervous system,
yeah,
right? And
absolutely.
that's why lots of times the cognitive therapies only get as far. It's here,
Yeah, that's right.
boxed in the left
Box in.
brain.
Yeah.
Whereas this is really harmonization of both hemispheres, left and right. The whole or cope the having again being again whole, right?
Mm-hmm.
And
Yes.
and going into your body and being in the body and feeling these subtle energies. This is another thing, like because as humans we are having such a limited vision. We really see such a little of what is actually around us. I
Hmm.
mean, it's a in this visible spectrum, it's only like 1% we see really of the visible light, and that's what we actually consider as real because we can see it. Right? But there's just so much around and within us which we don't see,
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
those are those forces which work on us, which we don't even know that is happening. And we
Hmm.
try to always just find out what's the problem, how I'm going to outsmart this.
Hmm. Yeah, and I mean,
It's very
when we have,
limited.
yeah, it is very limited. And when we don't have that
Mm,
clear lens of perception, because our lens of perception is only from a place of trauma and
mm,
um, unhealed parts of us that aren't integrated, then of
mm,
course we can't see the world in the same way. I see so differently now that I've been doing this work deeply and going into those deeper spaces. I don't see the world through that place of fear as much as I once did. I see more through a place of love, right?
It's
Hmm.
beautiful, beautiful.
Yeah.
Um,
It's totally transformational. And I know the more we go deeper into it, I feel it does. And it doesn't mean that, the journey, in my opinion anyway, at least it's not ever over. Like, it's just, there's things that come up and obviously the world has a lot of things going on in it right now. So those things can sometimes be triggering if we allow them to. But, when we get steady within ourselves, then the outside world doesn't really affect our inner peace and our inner joy and our inner sanctuary any longer, right? We don't get
Not
affected
as
by
much.
that so
That's
well.
for sure. Not as much. That's the big difference. We see it through a very different lens, and there's much more resourcefulness, right?
Yes,
Or
definitely.
ability to respond. And and that's a yeah, like
Yeah.
ability to respond, that's amazing.
Respond and not react, right?
Yes, yes, yes.
Yes, it's a totally
And
different place.
talking trauma, right? When all these circuits in us short circuited, which are not healed, oftentimes like it's part of us actually just walls it away because it's just like this is not a safe space, and this is for good reason. Like we all have the protectors of the mind, so this is not safe, but that's also part of us which is not on board, and it's
Mm.
not no wonder that people who have lots of unhealed trauma they struggle
Oh,
because
absolutely.
because
No
it's just
question.
because their whole system is just very fragmented,
Yeah,
to
for
be
sure.
using the whole human. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. And I'm not saying definitely, I want to just backtrack to what I said earlier about traditional therapy. I'm not saying it didn't have a place because it did help me and there is
Oh
definitely a
yeah, for
place for it.
sure.
It's important to
Hmm.
share what we have, but if you want to heal on the deeper levels, for me, this has been a way,
Hmm.
a way deeper way to heal some of the parts of myself and the trauma that I hadn't healed that I didn't get to do just from doing it in this space. I needed to connect really to that place of spirit, to the wholeness within the mind, body, spirit, like the whole
Hmm.
encompassing of all of it.
Yeah, and again, like the cognitive therapy has its place for sure. I mean, again, it's not to be just going like, okay, I'm just this, not that. Again, that dualistic, that binary way. We are not computers.
No, we
And
are
this
not.
is also another beauty about the human neurons, how incredibly superior they are to a computer chip. We are not a computer chip. We are humans.
We are
We we
humans.
we, we have
Yes.
a human neurons, and we have a cell membranes and cell potentials, and it's incredibly superior system, how it
Oh,
actually works, how it can actually
truly.
come. Yeah. So
And as
although
humans, we have emotional experiences, and that's just part of being a human, right? So,
part of being a human, yes,
yeah,
and of course, as we see, there's a huge push in the world of becoming more and more robot-like,
yeah,
and the whole kind of cell that if you're going to amend ourselves with a artificial intelligence, we will be superhumans. You'll be less humans.
yeah. And
That's
we need to
that's the
truly,
bottom line.
we need
That's
to
the
do
bottom
the
line.
opposite. We need to become more
Exactly.
human. And I believe
Yep.
that we need to feel to heal. That's it. We have to allow coming up. We have to quit pushing it away. This world right now needs us to feel. When we don't feel and heal the stuff within us, we can't have the empathy and compassion and love out here. And in my experience, that's what
Beautiful.
if
Oh, I mean,
we're
that's
if
beautifully
right?
put. Yeah,
Yeah,
beautifully put. Yes,
thank
that's it.
you.
Deep feeling is deep healing,
It
right?
is
And
absolutely.
and that's why I mean we never actually. I mean, never. I mean, I'm going to say never, but in the recent centuries, we didn't really use our full human potential. And so this is
No.
a time for us to, before we actually destroy ourselves by amending ourselves with some kind of artificial, you know, technology, we
Yeah.
really need to look at what we are capable
Mm.
before that and really, you know, really bring it on board. And I think this is such a strong movement around the world as well, simultaneously with the
Hmm.
movement of, you know,
Yeah. Well,
becoming
I mean,
becoming
once
robots, right?
Well, yeah, when we don't want, definitely, we don't want that to happen. And so the only way I believe we can do that is by connecting within and connecting to that which is greater, whichever somebody wants to call that God, universe, spirit, source, divine,
Hmm.
whatever, to me, because once we realize that we're all one, we're all part of the same source, we're all the same spirit within, even though we
Hmm.
all have these different exteriors that are here that we get to travel within, but once we
Hmm.
realize that, then maybe we realize that once I treat myself better, I treat you better. And once I treat you better, I treat myself better. That's the whole, to me, that's what self-love is all about, so that we can show up here being loving and kind and peaceful with one another, not coming from a place of hate and anger.
Hmm. and
And
division and yeah.
division, that's right. And fear,
Yeah,
right? We don't,
it's all fear. I mean, it's a we as these incredible human machines, whatever you want to call ourselves, we can be only controlled if we are in a state of fear.
absolutely. Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
I mean, those who were, manipulating the human society for eons, they knew that. Because, if we are really just loving and balanced humans, it's very hard to manipulate,
Mm. Hmm.
We
Yeah,
really are.
and we get so caught up
Mhm.
in the external and that fear drives us to buy more, to be more, to do more, to,
Mhm.
oh, that next car is going to make me happy, the next big house is going to make me happy, oh, my next relationship is going to make me happy. We keep looking out here for everything and we don't realize that everything we have is within us. And when we can connect to that beautiful space, to our heart space, to our spirit, to our soul, then we can realize that everything we need is right here. We don't need anything more. And but we all have to do that. And I think that's where humanity has to awaken to the fact that we have that
Mhm.
ability to do that. And that's where we're not tapping into. Like you said, we're not tapped into our true potential because we haven't tapped into the absolute truth of that right now because we've let the unfortunately the egoic mind and society programming, all the
Mhm.
outside energies tell us something different, right?
Totally. And there's always very, very simple, there's a very, very simple test, I mean, whenever you start to feel anxious, you know that there is either some kind of disharmonious energy, which is now starting to, rise to the surface, but it's also a program which is not actually serving you.
Mm,
Because, the truth of who we are is quite different. It's
yeah.
quite peaceful. It's quite self-sustaining. And
Mm,
so it's like an alarm bell. Anytime you start to feel anxious or what's going on, pay attention, go within.
yeah.
What's happening? This needs pausing instead of pushing or medicating ourselves,
Mm,
and not
absolutely.
feeling. So this is time to go, okay, how can I how can I bring it to the balance?
Yeah.
Yeah. This
Yeah.
is great. We've been talking almost for an hour.
Oh my goodness. Wow. Our listeners might be getting tired of this. Maybe we should wrap it up today. And
Well,
do,
we can
yeah.
talk for hours for
We
sure.
can, we can. We always have these beautiful, raw and real, raw, real and raw. I'm not sure again what conversations, and I really appreciate them. And I really hope that our listeners will get something of value from, a little nugget here and there that's something we shared. And we'll continue to share these conversations when we can, hopefully every 2 weeks for sure. If more
Would be
often,
nice.
then we
Yeah.
will. Yeah,
Yes.
absolutely. And
So yeah, that's beautiful. Yeah. Thank you everyone who's tuning
mm,
in. And yes, thank you, dear heart, for
mm, thank you.
initiating this. This is
Hey,
awesome.
thank you. I appreciate it very much, and a very heartfelt thank you to our listeners. And we just ask you if this at all started a spark in you at all, if stirred anything, just to please, like this and to share it and comment. If you have any topics you maybe want to hear us talk about, you could share them in the comments as well. And just like and subscribe. And we're going to continue trying to spread, more awareness and consciousness and awakening and self-love through these conversations, these raw and real conversations here.
Self-love.
Yeah,
Wow.
self-love. So
Thank
powerful.
you.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Have a beautiful rest of your day, evening, night, whatever it is.
Yes.
Bye, Robert. Big hugs.
Bye. Big hugs. Yes.
Bye.